to Mirror Interpretation Todorova. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joanna. I am an interpreter and a polyglot. And in today's video, I have your questions here. I know it has been some time. It has been really long time since I made a live. And because I don't have the time to make videos for each questions, in this video, I'm gonna respond to the question of Floren Chata Farel 661. Then a question of Ornelad Page 1137. Mohdna Dim Nadem Dashtio 8 Kisei Chima 1443 and Kazal Gamer 1786. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 questions. There is few questions from Tima. Hi Tima, probably you're sleeping or something. It doesn't really matter. It's Saturday and I also decided to just really sleep and do nothing for the first few hours of this day. This is amazing and isn't is. So some of those questions are quite long, so I'm gonna break them in smaller questions and then I am going to I hate when the frame is not exactly straight, but I'm supposing we have to continue this live. If you are here, hello, and if you have a question, you can type it in, and in the end of this video I am going to address the question, at least few of those questions. If you like to do so, do not hesitate to type your questions down. So, hi, I have a question. I'm learning English and I hope you can understand me. I do understand you. If I'm 16 years old, how can I prepare myself to be an interpreter? Well, I don't know what's your second language. Floren is how I'm gonna call you. I believe that interpreting is not for everybody. I believe interpreting is a profession that you have to actually like, or like something about doing interpretation. Otherwise, if you do this job and you hate it, you're gonna hate your life, basically. So I don't think that there is a thing that can prepare you, but I think at this age you can expose yourself to volunteering. I volunteered the first portion of my life as a medical, actually as a business or sport events interpreter. And I just did it for the hype. Just as much as I did other jobs, I did the dancing on the beach and entertaining people and cleaning lady and server. I have a lifeguard lessons. I wanted to do this as well. I don't know. I work as a cashier. I did a lot of other things among being an interpreter. And I enjoy it because I did a circus interpreter. That was my first thing, and I thought it was so much fun. Everybody was fun, and there was the show, and there was the vacation vibe. It was like a summer thing. So I advise you to do some volunteering instead of being like so serious about it, but just try to do it because I want in my future, let's continue, to study medicine. And the same time, I want to be an interpreter to make money for me. I am studying English. I'm thinking that I have to buy a book about medicine to students in English to learn English and vocabulary of medicine at the same time. I really want to do this. You don't have to buy books. I think these books are really redundant. I have several of those in different languages, and honestly, most of them are kind of too much at once. They're huge, and it's really intimidating to get one of those books and try to learn the whole medicine. I am advising you to do Bridging the Gap. I'm so sorry, whoever is watching me and thinking the MBCMI or CCHI are really important. I believe there is nothing better than bridging the gap. Buy their book, do their course. I did it with Asian Pacific Center. In my opinion, this is the best thing I have done outside of the classes that I'm preparing and I'm selling on my platform. So if you want to study medical terminology, this is bilingual classes. You can purchase those clicking on my link below. There is also they're gonna come in Spanish. So they're coming out in Russian. I'm gonna do them just in English, and you could see some of the promo videos on the YouTube for free. And they're going to also come. I could see your comments. I'm gonna address them in the end of this video. So they're gonna come as a book as well. And I really make it as simple as possible. So you can enjoy those for free on my YouTube channel if you like. How can I start? I'm confused. I have 4 years to prepare for myself before university because as I said, I'm 16 years old, turning 17 now on July 27th. Happy birthday to you. I want to work online. I mean to be an interpreter. And other question, how many money I can earn? Well, happy belated birthday. Oh my goodness, I never thought that the 17 years old people can watch someone like me. I mean, I'm happy to be a role model for you. What to say? I believe that, I don't know, this person sounds like a male to me for some reason. I believe that guys and males can do way more money without being an interpreter. If you want to work online, you could study programming, you could study decoding. I study a little bit of programming and decoding, and I believe as a male, you can do great money with one of those, I call them future professions. If you have an additional language adding to that, you can do amazing things and do way more money, way more, and I guarantee you way more than interpreting. But hey, how many money can I earn? Well, that depends. Depends on your level. I keep talking about money. Can you reply to me, please? I'm going to reply to you right now. How much money you can make? There are different levels of interpreting. So if you work as a medical interpreter and you work full time, you're gonna get basic payment. Surprisingly or not, a lot of the interpreters work for 17, 18, 19, 21 or $22 an hour. Probably this is people who have no master's degrees like me, and people who have no education, and people who have no abilities to do anything else. So, and I call these basic interpreters, interpreters that are ready to work for any money and anything. They just want to be there, they just want to be part of the game. So, I will call these basic interpreters. A lot of people that speak languages do have, let's say, education in other countries, but just because you have an education, it doesn't mean that you're knowledgeable. So, yes, education is great. And yes, as I advise you, Tima, as well, do go and educate yourself. Education is the best thing. And maybe you're not going to use it for interpreting itself, but education is going to open your brain for different horizons, different experiences. And eventually, you're going to find the things that you actually really, really love. So said that, go with the education first. And I don't think planning your life it's such a great idea. I think 17, 18, you should focus like a lot of energy in your school and studying, but you should also experience your first love and your first kiss, and play volleyball and swim and be outdoors, and be adventurous and start to read and discover theater and poem and music. So I think this is a very beautiful age to experience different things in life and not necessarily think so much about money. Money is an additional thing to any job that you do, and you probably have some passion that if you forgot all the money in the world, and if you imagine that you're the richest person on earth, what would you do? Would you still want to be interpreter? Would you still want to be a medical or legal, what is the thing that really drives you and that really makes you passionate about the things that you do? I did have a moment to ask myself what I would do, and I would do what I'm doing right now. If I had a very rich husband who I can have and who can pay for everything I want, I would still do what I do. And this is why I'm kind of imbalanced with myself, because let's imagine I win a lottery tomorrow, 100 millions of dollars. I'm gonna do what I do, yes, but I would probably hire lawyers that will create my company and they would start to bid for governmental contract, and I'm gonna hire interpreters to do this job for me, and I'm gonna make training classes and I'm gonna make language classes and so on. So I'm gonna still do what I do. Probably having more money would give me a little bit more of opportunities and abilities to create in this field. So how much money can I earn? If you sell yourself to others, you can earn from, I know a lot of people do it for, in America, from 16 $17 to the company that I know that pretends to pay the most is Saucy, legal, but they take advantage of you, paying you $47 an hour. If you get certified with court, you can and you can do the test in two languages. The test that I have failed myself, I should probably try it, which I don't care to succeed with, but I can try it, and I can eventually pass this test and do the both tests in the both languages. First test is in English and second test is in the target language. If you do this, you can contract directly with court, and I have seen, I believe the court pay for 3 hours about 250 and half a day is $450. The tests are really challenging. There is a lot of people writing comments under my legal video why I can't pass my legal exam. Well, if you have passed your legal exam, you're not gonna watch a video why can't you pass it, for number one. And if you watch this video, it's obviously that you have not passed this test. And I know myself, I am a person with 3 master's degrees and I speak 5 languages. And trust me, I know words in many languages that are not, that I don't know in all. But I know I have a vast vocabulary and I am still unable to pass this test. And the problem with this legal test is that it's not just a legal terminology. You're gonna talk about different kinds of manure, poop, dung. You have to be a specialist of animal poop to pass this test, believe it or not. You gotta be specialist of a kitchen utensils, believe it or not. And you also have to know some legal terminology or some legal portion on how, let's say, a protection order is served. Do you know how protection order? I work as a legal interpreter and I have a certification with SOSI in 3 languages for simultaneous, and my score is 98. And I don't know, I cannot remember this, but I remember there is 5 or 7 questions in the legal test related to that. So this is, as far as I know, working for others. My passion is business interpreting, so if you're looking for a Bulgarian, Italian, and Macedonian and English interpreter, you can write below this video and get in touch with me. I do provide interpretation business to business. How is the top much money you can do per day if you do business and trade, which I did quite some time in Europe? You can earn very good money, and maybe $600, $700, $800 a day. This is extremely challenging to do. I have done this in Europe while I was student in a different trade fairs. I do love business interpreting, and I think this is where you can do as much money as you can imagine in doing money. But this is just a few days you can earn these amounts. Can you reply to me? I have a problem. I live in Italy and my Italian is B1. I need to improve, but I can talk with people. I want to reach C1 or C2 level. But I speak Spanish, so I have no idea if I have to be medical interpreter between Spanish English or Italian English, or if the case is Italian English. I'm not native speaker, but I can improve. I have 4 years more. So, in my opinion, talking about the populations that speak a certain language, I think you should master your English, and then obviously the number two or three language that is spoken is Spanish. Spanish and English. If you already speak Spanish, Spanish is very close to Italian, so I think you should try to study better. If you're in Italy, you probably go to school, so focus on Italian and English, and I suppose you speak Spanish because your family is from a Latin background. So that's what I have to say here. Don't be so worried. I know Italy could be really boring and depressing from time to time, and people could be really, really nasty there. So I understand that you have nothing else to do, probably. But try to read and try to organize yourself to do things. That's what my opinion is. You could take extra classes for free. They have it in the community in Italy, and you could take Italian classes with the community. I did take free classes in Italy until I master my Italian. Okay, question number two. Is it possible to start working as an interpreter from Spanish into English without being native speaker of none? Yes, of course. Ornella da Page. Ornella, I believe, yes, you can work as an interpreter, both languages. You don't need to be native, but you need to be fluent. Fluent, this means that you could speak without making ich, oh, thinking. Just be comfortable with speaking the language. Now we're going to talk about mohnadem. Sorry, mohnadem, I cannot fully pronounce. But I'm going to read your question. Please upload Russian to English medical terminology and proceedings related to treatment. Everything that what call it of billing, what call it of discharge the patient, and how we can tell the patient for exercise when doctor says me please. Okay, so you want the physiotherapy vocabulary, discharge the patient, and treatment. There's so many medical terminology videos that I have on this channel, and they keep coming in Russian. You just have to be patient. If you want to know more about discharge and recommendation and that, you can purchase the classes in my platform, and they're structured based on the visit, based on the risks, based what doctor's gonna tell the patient, and based on discharge instructions. This is how my classes are structured, and they're in 2 languages. If you want, you can purchase those. You're gonna be a super confident person on both. Tima. Hi, Tima. Hi, girl. Okay, let's read your questions now. Hi, Joanna. I love going back to your videos and listening to them again. Thank you. I worked so hard to create them. This is really hard. So thank you so much, Tima. I find your voice soothing. Oh, thank you so much. I'm working on my voice, and I'm trying to do different exercises to keep my voice not being annoying. I got diagnosed with moderate ADHD recently. Okay, Tima. I want to be a little bit critical with medical medicines and so on. I believe every single human have ADHD, believe it or not. There are some things that your brain is naturally resisting, believe it or not. So that's explain my forgetfulness and memory recall is pretty bad. If being diagnosed with something as ADHD give you, like, how to say, peace and makes you feel good, okay, you can get diagnosed. And I believe that every time you go to a doctor, if you have like good reasons to believe that you have a problem, the doctors like to find this problem for you. So here in America, you can get easily diagnosed with things that you didn't even know they exist. So there is nothing wrong about being diagnosed with ADHD, but just remember this is um, a momentum picture of your brain or brain functionality. I think the main problem in HDAD or in every person, they think that they have forgetfulness, which I also thought I was very slow. Uh, when I was a child, my parent was very abusive, and I was thinking that I was dumb because they told me that I was dumb and everything was wrong with me. And a big portion of my brain was busy with abuse that I was receiving. My brain was constantly busy with something which was not the school, which was not mathematics, it was not literature, it was not reading, it was not the Dante and the Commedia Divina and literature. I was thinking about the triggers of my mentally unhealthy parent, and I was trying to remember that he would be angry if I get a higher vote than my sister. So I had to control the votes of my sister, and I had to calculate the portion of the amount that I have to say to the teacher to give me a passing score of C, uh, and a score not too high. So with my father would get upset and triggered if my vote was better than the one of my sister. So I know this sounds weird what I'm sharing with you right now, but I like to let you know your brain is busy with something else. There must be something that keeps your brain busy. It's not, you're not present, you're not at the school, you're not thinking, but there is something that triggers you and that keeps your brain circling and working and thinking and trying to find a solution. There is something that keeps your brain busy, and you have to find this problem. I'm gonna send you, I'm creating something, team up, that I'm gonna launch that is related to my other channel, and you have been subscribed here for quite some time, so I'm gonna give it to you for free. I'm creating a class to overcome some things. It's not a class, it's like a journey. It's almost ready, and I'm gonna send you this for free once I launch it, I promise you. So I believe that your anxiety, it's a big part in it. So now I know why I'm always stressing out and being a perfectionist, because I'm afraid of people realizing that I have those weaknesses. So, girl, once again, I am not gonna play as a therapist, but I'm gonna share what I think here. Um, Anxiety, it comes from pressure. You are probably pressured by the people around yourself to do things or to perform or to have certain results. Um, and you are surrounded by people that constantly criticize you and put you down. I am 100% sure of that. And sometimes parents think that if they put down their children, they're gonna motivate them to be more successful than the parents. There is people and parents that constantly nag and complain of their children because they are personally unhappy and successful. So always stressing out being perfectionist. You're stressing out of being perfect because you have unhealthy environment, sweetie. I had an unhealthy environment. I had an unhealthy parent who would talk about perfectionist and perfect and God, and there would be this perfect woman, Anastasia books, and there would be this whole fantasy about perfection. My father was far from perfect. And so There is not such a thing as being perfect. The moment that I accept that I am not perfect, but I will say the word in Russian, "Я говно," is like nothing, I'm like horrible. The moment that I accept that I have defects and there is things about me that I would not be able to overcome or change, there is scars in my body that I feel ashamed of and I'm scared somebody can see them and realize or read my mind and where is this coming from. I grow up in such a suppressed background. For me, the fact that I was not perfect, it was equal as you don't deserve nothing in life. Because I was treated like that for 21 years of my life. People realizing that I have weaknesses. Girl, there is not one person on this earth that is first perfect and have no weaknesses. I have weaknesses, so many. I have my own fears. I have panic attacks. I have post traumatic stress disorder. We all have problems and we all have weaknesses. People realizing that shouldn't bother you because people are haters or lovers, either way. People may love you for your weakness and hate you for what you're strong at. I am receiving so much hate because of my abilities to learn languages that you cannot imagine how much hate I receive. I don't remember somebody says to me, "Bravo, I worked 20 years as an interpreter and I receive daily negative, tons of negativities. Even the company that I work so hard to build their future, they dare to insult me and then they try to recall me and get me to work for them again once they terminate me and like don't want to work with me. They tell me that I'm bad, that I'm nothing, that I am miserable, that I'm horrible, that I'm not good enough. But they keep trying to hire me. If people put you down, is because they want you to react. And what's happened if somebody puts you down? What's your natural reaction is to prove that you're good, that you can do better. And basically, slowly, when somebody puts you down, they put you in the mental state of a slavery. Because instead of working on yourself, you're busy to content and to prove to someone that you can do, that you're better, that you're good. And slowly, when you have these people around you that put you down and see your weakness and dare to talk about it, and you forget about you. You forget to focus on your gifts, on what you can do best, on what you love, and so on. Said that you are not perfect, and nothing you can do would be ever perfect. Even in those videos that I work to create bilingual medical terminology training, it's even if I read it 30 times, I know there is still typo. There would be a typo. There is still an error. Even if the computer check it, there is always a little errors. And it's okay. Don't be triggered by the fact that you don't do things perfectly. Try your best, and it's okay if you make mistake. Confident people admit that they make mistake and they learn and they grow from it. It's okay, I made mistake. It's fine, it is not a big deal. Mistakes are okay. Mistakes are part of your journey. Don't try to be perfect. That's why I'm always asking questions. I love my job, and the fact that I type what I'm going to interpret helps me a lot because otherwise I can't rely on my brain or learning. How to not take just looks super difficult. Thank you for everything you have taught us. Okay, Tima, I'm gonna give you a hack here. I was working as simultaneous in Italy, let's say 7 years, 8 years. When I move, you don't have time to take notes in business meetings. The buyers tells you what products they want to buy. You know how to introduce them. You know which company or government they present, and you don't have time to note. Yeah, I take notes, but very few. If it's a number or some, They don't wait for you to think to make. No, it's fast. It happened fast. So me doing simultaneous, it really helped me to believe myself. Yes, indeed, you're not as precise, but I had the same panic when I start to do consecutive. Yes, I was feeling like everybody was sleeping when I got here in 2016. I was like, oh, consecutive is easy for me. On one side, it was easy, but what was challenging, I was thrown into work for medical. And I didn't know much medical back then. I know some medical, but I really didn't know as much as I know right now. So I had the urge to know everything. For example, hello, what's your name? My brain was so panicked by the fact that I'm gonna do medical that I could not simply say in the target language, hello, what is your name? Hola, ¿cómo te llamas? I needed to write it down before I interpret. So there is something like this that is happening to you, the urge to take notes. Because just because you take notes, it doesn't gonna make you more precise. So there is a lot of videos. I advise you to check them. I use a lot of mathematical symbols when I note take. And I have training. I have 3 masters, and in Europe I was poor. I couldn't buy the book. So I had to write what the professor say because I couldn't buy the books. I was so poor when I studied, right? So I learned to write real fast and extremely ugly. Nobody could understand my handwriting. But I was so good at taking that, and because I was desperate because I didn't have the money for the books. So I learned how to do it. But not taking, it's also a way what to not take and what to not take. And there is another comment from you, Tima, once again. I find Jesus. Okay, this is the same comment actually that I just addressed. So that's about Tima. What I do to overcome this anxiety, and I will tell you, this is something that I do sometimes. I did quite. I put National Geographic video in my headset and I interpret it in the target language versus one language. Let's say one video is in English and I will do it in Russian. The moment you hear, just do it. And then and record yourself. Don't take no notes. This very great training, I did this for about a year and a half during COVID, and I will tell you, this really helped me relax my brain. uh, when you do this exercise, say to yourself, I'm gonna do as much mistake as I can. I'm just challenging myself. Or you put the news is something else. Or sometimes I put some podcasts, I don't know, female beauty, whatever. I would do 3 or 4 a day while I was getting ready for my soci exam, and this is why my score was 97, because I challenged my brain with different thematics. I don't know, whatever it is, I advise you to do this just for fun. Now it's our last question, and I see there is really Aliah. Shout out, please. Okay. I don't understand what he's saying, but maybe my sound is not so loud. But you eventually gonna be able to hear it. I hope so. Hello, madam. Casual grammar. We're gonna address the question of casual grammar. Um, Hi, Sina Dov. Hi, Sina. So in 5 minutes after I respond to this question, I will give you 5 minutes to ask me questions, guys. Before I disconnect. Hello, madam. I hope you're having a great day. I just want to know the step-by-step process of becoming an interpreter. I have gained a keen interest learning various languages, Chinese, Spanish, German, and of course I need to better my English too, to improve your English. Okay. So I heard it's better to be an interpreter than translator because the pay is good. Can you please kindly reply to my curiosity? Okay, hi casual grammar. So step by step, My experience, I volunteer as an interpreter. That's a step by step. If you really want to do more formal education, get Bridging the Gap training certification. Let me see if you can see it. This my, okay, you can't see it, it's behind the computer, but this is my favorite piece of training. Is gonna train you how to be an interpreter. Cost is about between $600 and $900. This is the first step. And step number 2, apply for jobs. It's very simple as pie if you already know languages. Chinese, Spanish, and German. Wow, that's impressive. Interpreter then translator, because it pay is good. I don't know if it's good. A lot of companies try to take advantage of you, even here in the USA, and because of that, I think I do some jobs for a interpreter and some jobs for translator. How to say? Depends. Depends on the project. I feel like here in the USA, there is a lot of companies mispaying you and underpaying you and taking advantage of you. Once again, talking about the pay, translation could be per page, per document, or per word. And you could get, I don't know, $20 per document, or you could per page, let's say 250 words. You can get per words, Spanish, Chinese, it could be cents per word. And I feel like you can do money equally good translating. I feel translating require a little bit more attention. I don't think interpreter pays better than translation. Once again, I am thinking that I should create members only videos, negotiations, and how to sell yourself. I did study this. I was exposed to business negotiation for about 8 years in my life, working as a business to business simultaneous interpreter in Italy. And although I don't have a formal training of that, I believe I have learned how negotiations work, seeing them. But I still believe that I should learn a little bit more and create a step-by-step class, or maybe training on how to sell yourself or your business based on your abilities, on what you can do. This is what I gotta say. So your pay will depend on your ability to sell yourself and negotiate. Say that that's everything from today, guys. That was my life. Thank you for being here. And yes, and somebody say they couldn't hear me. Shout up out, please. Defani, Alaya, wherever. Okay, guys, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this live, and I hope this was useful. I'm gonna try. I don't know how to close this live. It's been so long for me. So I'm gonna, I don't know. Oh, you can laugh on me, but this is technology. Start a pool, share, and okay, I learned how to end the live. So that's gonna be it. There is no question. So please have an amazing day and stay positive. Bye bye.